You guys for coming here. Yeah. I guess I click. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? How many of you are English-speaking people? Can you raise your hands? So it's mostly Italian-speaking? I just wanted. So I need to do it in English, or you want to do it in Italian? I can do. I was trying to understand that. I do it in English. I will. The idea today, to be honest, is to talk less about venture capital, talk more about human beings, and particularly talk about a topic a bit as a discussion that I like to call the entrepreneurial spirit. So I start asking, as I think all of you do, we use tools, so we use ChatGPT. And so I ask ChatGPT, create an image of entrepreneurial spirit. And that is the result. And then, ChatGPT is very nice, and he also writes, here is the image, and it says, the reason why I'm showing you this image is because there is determination, innovation, vision, and opportunities. What do you think of this image? Do you see anything strange in this image? Can we take the microphone? Is there anybody has a view about if, is this an image of entrepreneurial spirit? What do you see wrong in this image? Is there anything you see wrong in this image? So you see an image like that, you say, that's fantastic, that's exactly how. Do you see anything wrong about it? No? Sorry? Okay, what do you see? Sorry.
In real life, I can't really hold a light bulb this big. And also the straight lines that I see in the city, I don't exactly understand what they are. They remind me, I don't know, Rome from the top, but I don't know. They seem quite bright. And since it's the sunset, I really don't understand it. But yeah, it's the light bulb. It's definitely too big.
Anybody else has any other view about if you look at an image like that of entrepreneurial spirit, what's wrong with this picture? Here, yeah?
I think that entrepreneurial spirit is not like being at the top, looking at the bottom, like with supremacy, but staying together to build something with a group of people that you estimate and you believe in. You believe that's a good view?
No, I hate it, but that's different. I'm asking you what you see wrong. I personally hate it. And one of the key messages today I want you guys to take out of this is how you need to take distance from a tool, ChatGPT, and be critical about it, because it's not because it's in ChatGPT it's true, like if it's not true because it's in Google, and that judgment. And I also want you to think, what is this entrepreneurial spirit? Is anybody else has anything that sees wrong in this picture?
Maybe the person that we see in this image has already reached his goal, whereas the entrepreneurial spirit means also failing and accepting the vulnerabilities and the failure that we might encounter during our path. This is what I see.
Anybody else? Anything else? I ask now this question particularly to a subset of you, to the women in this room. Do you see anything wrong in this image? So I would like to hear a woman that tells me what there is wrong in this image. Is there any woman that has a view about what is wrong in this image? Okay. Yeah, so I have good news for you, right? Entrepreneurial spirit doesn't mean man. Where do you think this image is? What there is behind it? Just think about it. Then, because I got very pissed about it, I ask you, can you create an additional image of entrepreneurial spirit? Because it's okay, it might be the first time was wrong, maybe the second time, ChatGPT is going to be smarter. And the tool provided this even more beautiful picture about creativity, ambition, and drive for progress. What's wrong in this picture? It's always a man, but what else? What do you think is the job of that person? Do you think he's a tennis player? You see, we are giving. So this is what I want you to figure out, because this, guys, is the most important thing you need to learn in this place, is do not decrease your judgment. If you accept what you see, you end up not making choices. Here there is an incredible judgment. The judgment here is that, what do you think that person has got in his hand? What is it? Is a piece of paper, or what they try to tell you with that image? That through the knowledge, that is a very positive view of the world. I love it. It's funny, because that's why we are different, right? We all see different things. I actually try to, the way how I've read it, and maybe I'm wrong, is they're trying to say that entrepreneurial spirit is something for business people. Because I don't know why, for which reason, that thing just makes me to believe it's about business person. That city behind it, I don't know if it's San Francisco, New York, or whatever, led me to think that entrepreneurial spirit must be associated with a city. And then I ask, do you see any bias in the image generated? And I did that just with the second image. I asked ChatGPT, is there something wrong with this image? Can you tell me? And he says, well, actually, it puts 3 points, right? One is this concept of diversity maybe is not there. It's this concept of this person was a soul only, isolated by everybody, right? There was no concept of collaboration in this entrepreneurial spirit. And then there is an element about the environment. I don't know if those are all the negatives associated with those images, but the positive thing, if ChatGPT knows, maybe next pictures at some point in the future they're going to be better, but they really suck. So I want you to really think very hard each single time you use an internet tool to judge what you see. Because if you don't judge it, you draw a conclusion that entrepreneurial spirit is male, is probably associated with a city, is probably a businessman, and it's most probably totally wrong. And you think that is the reality because you're losing your judgment. So what I want you to think about today is 2 things. First of all, what really is entrepreneurial spirit. I want to go into the details of it. And I want to go into the details of how you cannot stop your judgment and the critical approach to what you see. The moment in which we stop that, we are in a very problematic world. Now, let's talk about an interesting concept that I think ChatGPT also confused. What's the difference between entrepreneurial spirit and entrepreneurship? Because these 2 things, they're completely different. Entrepreneurial spirit is a mindset. It's the way how you look at life. It's the way how you do not accept that something must be done in a specific way, and you are open to challenge that. But I can tell you, I don't know how many entrepreneurs there are in this room, but I can tell you, all of them, all of you, have got some dimension of entrepreneurial spirit. So these two things are very different. Entrepreneurship is a process. You use the entrepreneurial spirit to start a company. Then we will talk about different types of entrepreneurship. But I wanted to make sure you don't get confused by the fact that because you're an entrepreneur means you should not have entrepreneurial spirit. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? Yeah. Sorry? Treviso. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? Where? Venice. Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? You guys made some choices to be here. You made some choices to come here. You could go to Ca' Foscari, it was much closer to Venice. You made some choices to come to this. You are somehow motivated by your own entrepreneurial spirit. And the question is not some people have it, some people don't have it. Everybody has it, just not everybody might recognize it. So let's talk about this. I asked ChatGPT to make a picture of a kid. He made this kid picture. Can a kid have entrepreneurial spirit? Any ideas? So why you think how could a kid express his entrepreneurial or her entrepreneurial spirit? Sorry, I can't hear. Can we give you the microphone?
I think kids are very creative, and entrepreneurial spirit is based also on creativity.
Okay, any other ideas how a kid could express his entrepreneurial spirit? I would like to remind you that ChatGPT shows us a mature man, not a kid. So we are challenging that concept. Any other ideas how a kid can express his entrepreneurial spirit or her entrepreneurial spirit? Think of you as a kid. Have you ever expressed your entrepreneurial spirit?
So if I think myself when I was a kid, I didn't have many barriers that I hold now. And the kids in general do not have the same preconcepts that we have. So they are more likely to express their own ideas without covering them.
I guess so what you're saying is one of the ways how kids can express the entrepreneurial spirit is by the freedom of what they say, because they fundamentally don't have any inhibitions. So they actually say what they think, because they don't think there is a reason why they should say what they think. That naivety that comes. So that's one of the dimensions of how a kid expresses entrepreneurial spirit. Did you ever express your entrepreneurial spirit as a kid? Did you ever express your entrepreneurial spirit as a kid? How?
Yeah, I think being creative in any sort of way, you know.
Which sport do you play?
Mainly soccer and golf.
Soccer and?
Golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
How did you pick up golf?
My father was director of a golf club, so.
Sorry, say it again.
My father was a director of a golf club, so I was since a little kid.
And did all your friends, kids, play golf?
No, not at all. That's why you started playing
So
soccer.
my point want to be that is a manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit, right? Now, forget about how he was influenced by that, right? All his friends were playing probably for football, soccer, depends. But he was exposed to something different. It was his way to express that it was okay to do something different. Okay? The point that I'm trying to make is that the kids have many ways how they can express the entrepreneurial spirit. And the most important thing that we, that now grew up a little bit, we are not as much as kids anymore, is watch them and recognize that. Because, to manifest your entrepreneurial spirit, sometimes it might imply something that is not consensual. It's not going every day to play the football because 2 days a week is going somewhere else to play golf. That, when you're a kid, might generate some friction. And if we can help the kids around us when we see that manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit, to support them so they don't feel lonely into that is a very important thing to do. So point number one, again, I want to just show you how wrong was the first picture. It was a grown-up, it was not a kid. Let's have another complete discussion. Can a musician have entrepreneurial spirit? And how? Does anybody have a view on that? What's your favorite musician? Yeah. Do you think has expressed entrepreneurial spirit? How?
I think so, because he's very original in what he does. He changed the music for me, and so maybe a musician by composing is trying to make steps in
So he's
his
basically
life.
doing that to the manifestation of his own art. Do you like any musician? Yeah.
Daft Punk.
And do you think they have expressed entrepreneurial spirit? Or they express
Yes,
it?
they
How?
revolutionized the world of electric music, so yeah.
Think about which one of these musicians you like, and think about how they have expressed this entrepreneurial spirit. And then think about when we ask the original question to ask a GPT, ChatGPT show us that image. Why didn't it show us a musician? It show us somebody with some papers. That is the bias, right? And nobody said, oh, look, this is man. Think about how we learn to accept the fact that that was the right manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit, but you just told us how this fantastic musician actually have got entrepreneurial spirit. Think how deep is this? Who is an immigrant? And why an immigrant is a manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit. How many of you here consider yourself immigrant? I live in London. I left Italy when I was 23, so I'm an immigrant. Is there anybody of you here that is an immigrant? Do you know any immigrant? So the immigrant that you know, tell us about this person. Where did or she emigrate from to? There was a person there, I think. You said that you know an immigrant. It cannot be I'm the only immigrant in the world.
For example, I know one of my friends is from Morocco.
From where?
Morocco.
And did he or she
He.
grew up here or in Morocco?
Now he's here in Italy. Yeah. When he was kid with his family, he moved in Italy. So I think that the entrepreneurial spirit is to change a place when you don't feel is the right place for you, you change it. This could be a sort of entrepreneurial spirit, maybe.
Be that is because you don't like the place. In all honesty, in some cases, could also not be your choice. There are immigrants because of wars. I left Sicily because I wanted to go to Silicon Valley. And my point was, I just wanted to be in the place where there was a center of technology. That is a manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit. The moving. We live in a place where Venice was very important. Venice was one of the first places, right? In long times where people were going in exploration. Exploring what is a manifestation of that entrepreneurial spirit. It's about, getting to know the new. You want to get to know something new. You are motivated, not by making money. You're not motivated by anything. You are motivated by going a new place to explore. Think about how much entrepreneurial spirit people like Marco Polo had, but I will make the argument how much entrepreneurial spirit the friend of our friend had, right? To leave Morocco, start everything from scratch. Now think again about the famous picture that ChatGPT showed us, and now you can see how wrong was it. But none of us in this room for 1 second mentioned or concluded that, oh wow, this is so wrong, let's kill it. It was totally wrong. It was full of assumptions that we didn't judge for 1 second. We said, okay, this is great. Why did we say it was great? Because it was easy. You have to think, to believe that an immigrant could have actually a very high level of entrepreneurial spirit, that a musician could be like entrepreneurial spirit, that each of you has got a dimension of entrepreneurial spirit. So it's much easier, just stop thinking, look at the image, yes, of course it's right, this is the image of entrepreneurial spirit. So I encourage you all to think about this because you all have entrepreneurial spirit. Your friends have entrepreneurial spirit. In some cases, you might be afraid to listen to it. Or you may notice a good friend of yours that doesn't have the possibility. A possibility is a broad word. It could be financial possibility, but could be also, I would say, in most cases, the emotional possibility to follow the entrepreneurial spirit. And the emotion, what you need to do if you are a friend is try to emotionally support that person. Because if you support them, they will support you. So one thing that I wish today you guys getting out of here you can think about is what is the entrepreneurial spirit that is in you, what is that you can recognize in your friends, and more importantly, what is it that you are going to be able to recognize in the future on all the people that you are going to be able to meet, see, engage, and interact, and try to figure out if there is anything you can do to help and support them. Because fundamentally, the entrepreneurial spirit is at the core of human evolution. Then I went to ask GPT. I said, okay, show me an example of how you think an entrepreneur should look like. And they come up again with this picture. Now, after everything we have been talking so far, if I ask you what's wrong with this picture, so this is not an entrepreneurial spirit in broad words. This is a specific thing. If somebody has got an entrepreneurial spirit and has decided to use that spirit in business to start and run a company, being an entrepreneur, what's wrong now with this picture based on everything we've seen or everything we have discussed so far? I hope you guys now have a lot of ideas about what is wrong, because otherwise we start with image number 1 and we start again. So, who has the microphone? Can you go just on the back there and ask them what's wrong? Stop, go, left. Yeah. Yeah, just take, yeah, perfect. What do you think is wrong with this image?
That is a man that the thing of the entrepreneurial spirit does not, is specific for a man that runs a business and works in a company, so he has this entrepreneurial spirit, but he used it inside a company.
Yeah, but we need to be careful, because here this was not a vague question about what is entrepreneurial spirit. This was a question, okay, show me an entrepreneur. So the fact that you use the entrepreneurial spirit to start a company, it makes sense, but here it's a little bit different. So it's less about the fact that ChatGPT is using an example of a business. Somebody apply entrepreneurial spirit to business, because that is what the entrepreneur is. So I'm not sure that's what is wrong, but for sure one thing is wrong is that he's a man. I hope that there are many women here that one day can be entrepreneurs. Is there anything else that is wrong in this picture? Maybe the people, yeah, on that side. Do you see anything wrong in this picture? What's wrong about this entrepreneur here? What the bias is of ChatGPT? What is it you see there as well? There are entrepreneurs that they don't need to be that. What do you see there? Yeah, that's what you.
Only depicts business, a creative person in business, but entrepreneurship can mean being creative in other aspects, not only in the business world.
Yeah. But, I would say, even going even farther into this, if you look at this picture, there is an assumption. Sorry.
The way he is looking is really divine, the light under him, and his physics, his position is like a person, cool person, the image of cool person. An entrepreneur, I think that could also be another kind of person, not that one.
Anything else that you see wrong with this image? Yeah.
He wears a suit and he has a suitcase.
Yeah, so what's wrong about that?
It doesn't have to be necessarily in that way, an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So he's definitely a Western world entrepreneur, right? Because probably an Indian entrepreneur may dress in a different way, or a Chinese entrepreneur may dress in a different way, right? So it's a very biased. But there is a biggest bias, even a bigger one. There is if you look at the image, you look at what is on the right side, you look at the way how they express it, it's very tech. The biggest bullshit of this image is that entrepreneurs can only be tech entrepreneurs. Right? It's the bias. It doesn't tell you, look, I'm showing you a tech entrepreneur. So you imagine an entrepreneur. It happens I put a computer on the right. It happens I put this type of look and feel. I try to influence you that entrepreneurship is a tech entrepreneur. But I don't, Again, I want you to be clear about the fact that you need to apply judgment, because if you look at that, then my friends that have got a very big farm and they have a fantastic entrepreneur business, they will not be considered entrepreneurs. So you also need to think not about the fact that there is entrepreneurial spirits, there is entrepreneurship, there are entrepreneurs, but the fact that entrepreneurs can be applied, entrepreneurship can be applied to anything. It doesn't need to be applied to tech. So then I ask, ChatGPT to create an image illustrating different type of entrepreneurship, because I was so pissed about the fact that he thought entrepreneurship was about tech. Now I ask a more specific question, show me other things. He creates, this, where fundamentally try to say, yes, it's true, there are different types of entrepreneurship, technology, agriculture, retail, social, I try to do things. So my point want to be that actually, if you have forget about the image, it's not great, but my point is, if you apply judgment, you say, look, I don't believe this is bullshit, give me a better answer. Actually, ChatGPT can give you a better answer. Maybe not the most better illustration, but actually there is something like that. And I'm using ChatGPT as an example. This is the same will be for Google, it's the same for everything. It's the same for everything you read, it's the same thing for everything you learn, it's the same thing for everything, right? You have a first impression based on the fact that somebody might deliver you a message, and you just accept that message without challenge it. And that person that delivered that message, by the way, might not do on purpose to build a bias in what he's telling you. In this case, the definition of entrepreneur, the definition of spirit entrepreneurial, it might just happen. And the moment in which you ask questions, that is the reason why I didn't want to do this session of me talking, but I want to this as an interaction, is because when you ask questions, you do one thing that is called engagement. And it's through that engagement that you really learn, because then you can challenge. And it's through that process of challenging you learn, and I also deliver a better message, because now, yeah, you're right, that image was the wrong one, because actually this is not what I meant. People also sometimes, systems may say things not because they are malicious, but just because they have not thought things through. But if you don't have a judgment and you don't push back, you just accept that entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurial spirit is an entrepreneur, that there is no any other manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit, that must be white, there must be a man, and must be a businessman. And we spent the previous 40 minutes to discuss how entrepreneurial spirit can be applied to everything. Entrepreneurs can also be of different type and kinds. And I want you to think very deeply about that, because there are deep doubts that inside each of you there is entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe not all of you will become entrepreneurs in the future, but there is entrepreneurial spirit, and you need to satisfy that, because that is the way how we grow and develop. So, the two key messages here, what always be critical about the tools that you use. And also the most amazing tool, by the way, ChatGPT, I use this as an example today, is one of the most amazing things that have been happening on the internet in the last 20 years, but it's still a tool. As any tool, you need to assess, judge, and figure out what is the result. The other point I want to make is that you need to nurse your entrepreneurial spirit. Feel it and nurse it. Whatever manifestation or express itself. If that is because you're going to become a musician, is it because it's going to allow you to get to the right university, it's going to be about, whatever it is going to be about it, but you need to feel it, recognize it, and take care of it, and nurse it, and ask for help. That's what education is about. It's about nursing that entrepreneurial spirit. Some of you will use that entrepreneurial spirit to maybe one day start a company and become entrepreneurs. But some of you will never be entrepreneurs and will nurse your entrepreneurial spirit to do things that you love to do. That could be traveling to figure out things. It could be reading books about specific subjects. It might be helping you to discover yourself, develop, helping you to find and discover other people. There is all other question that says also, that is the other message I want to deliver today, is that if you use your entrepreneurial spirit to do a business, and then you become an entrepreneur, and then you are in the field of entrepreneurship, and tech entrepreneurship is not the only type of entrepreneurship. I know today is extremely fashionable. I invest only in tech entrepreneurs as a venture capitalist, but entrepreneurship is much more than tech entrepreneurship. And there is not tier 1 entrepreneurs, tier 2 entrepreneurs. There are no good entrepreneurs, bad entrepreneurs. There are successful entrepreneurial idea, very successful entrepreneur doing the most amazing things. Some of them, may have to do with agriculture. Some of them may have to do with cheese. Some of them may have to do with anything. And that is, at the end, one of the key things that has been helping humanity to progress. So every time, you think about that, do not fall into the trap of thinking there is only one kind of entrepreneurship that is basically tech entrepreneurship. Because that view of the world, it's fake. It's exactly like ChatGPT showed to us those images. They amplify an angle, and if you lose a judgment, you believe that is true. That was a little bit of the conversation I wanted to have today, and I would be very happy to answer any questions in addition, if you guys have any on this topic. Is there anybody has got any question? So let me ask you the question then. What is today that was something that you didn't think before coming here? Is there something you say, okay, I didn't think about that before? Sorry? Is there something that today, before today, was not something that you thought about it? Is there something new that came out of this discussion today?
Before today, I didn't really divide or differentiate the entrepreneurial spirit from the entrepreneurship. I didn't know this distinction.
Is that clear today that these two things are completely different?
Yes.
Is there anything else today you guys said, okay, look, I never thought about that in this way? You always thought, so this concept that the entrepreneurial spirit can morph in different shapes, that was clear to you before? And now if I ask you a question, I think about your life, think about things you see, is there any manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit that you have seen in you, on the people near you, could be people you love, could be your friends, that said, before today, that is actually entrepreneurial spirit? Is there anything that you have done that you never before today realized that was your way to express the entrepreneurial spirit in you or in your friends? Or maybe a different question of what has been the first time that you can think about your own life in which you feel that you expressed your entrepreneurial spirit. Can you think about your life first time that you say, okay, look, this is an example of a manifestation of the entrepreneurial spirit in me? What that would be? Any thoughts, anybody? All right, let's see.
I would like to ask, what do you actually mean by nurse your entrepreneurial spirit? How can we actually nurse our entrepreneurial spirit in a day-to-day basis?
trying exactly to do what is that I'm trying to do here today with you, that is asking you a question to yourself, is there any manifestation of entrepreneurial spirit that I should take care of? Because the reason why I'm asking you the question is think about your life is this never happened to you, and you are fundamentally not answering that question. It means that fundamentally you never thought deeply about it. If you don't recognize something that is happening to you, there is no way you can nurse, you can help. So the first and most important step is recognition.
Also setting goals or just enjoy the path and always trying to spread your entrepreneurial spirit to every task you perform.
Yeah, but so there is one question that has to do how I can nurse. But the first step is you need to recognize it. If you don't recognize it, you cannot take care of it. It's very basic, right? Once you recognize it, then there is the question of how you can take care of it. And the best way to take care of it is actually allowing you to express it. And be vocal about it, talk about it. Because if you don't talk about it, you pretend it does not exist. There is no way that you can take care of it, you cannot nurse it. And then the risk is that one day you get very old, you look back in your life, and you say, oh shit, I wish I could have, but I didn't.
Clear. Thank you.
Very welcome. Can you?
I appreciated a lot your speech today. It was really particular. And I have a curiosity now. Why, before you came here, you decided to speak about this topic and maybe not about your career and how you became what you are today to all of us? What's the reason?
I think fundamentally two reasons. One is because I honestly don't believe that sharing the experience of how good or what I've done in my life is something you can take something out of it that can be helpful to you. But on the contrary, what is my passion? My passion is to unleash the potential of tech entrepreneurship. That's what I do. That is a part of it's a way, now that we spoke about this today, is a way how the entrepreneurial spirit manifests itself in the job environment to be an entrepreneur, in a subset of, the way our entrepreneurship can happen, and that is tech entrepreneurship. So what makes me excited, what gives me the energy, is that one day, exactly like 13, 15 years ago, I came here and I saw this guy that was working with this, idea. The company was called The Garage. I put the first 500K. I convinced him to move to London. Everybody gave me shit because I was moving to London. He worked out of my office for 12 months, and 15 years later, Etsy acquired them for 1.6 billion. That was an element of satisfaction to me that was way above just the return on the cash. So what is that I wish I'm trying to do today is to inject that level of curiosity around what is entrepreneurship, because maybe some of you one day will become tech entrepreneurs that I can help to unleash, but maybe it's not you, maybe it's your brother, it's your sister, maybe it's your friends. So basically trying to make you an evangelist for what is entrepreneurial spirit, because entrepreneurial spirit might manifest itself in many different ways. And one of the way could be the way that is the one that I care the most. And by the way, I care the most just because I'm more capable to help and support that. If I could help musicians to become, top 10 musicians in the world, I will do that. I don't know how to do it. So my area of specialization is to help people that with entrepreneurial spirit can apply that to business in the world of tech and unleash their power. That's why.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure.